Back with some more breaking news here on Seattle Seahawks Today, as your Seattle Seahawks have signed New York Giants safety Julian Love to a 2-year, $12 million contract. Tyler Jones here with you. Appreciate you joining us as we are here to break it all down for you on this special at-home edition. My off day, but that doesn't stop the news from rolling in. Let's catch up to speed on the Seahawks bringing in Julian Love. Now, Julian Love, he visited the Seahawks just within the last couple of days, had a workout with Pete Carroll, John Schneider, and company, and I guess the visit went really well. This was at around the same time Devin Bush was at the facility as well. Obviously, they ended up signing him earlier this morning. And Julian Love, I got to tell you, this is a sneaky good signing by the Seattle Seahawks, and it provides some depth and some flexibility at the safety position. One of the things we were talking about on yesterday's show was that if you bring in Julian Love, all of a sudden you have a couple different options of things you can do with the safety position. Let's start there, and then we'll get into Julian Love specifically. Think about the safety spot right now. You had the qualifying offer that you gave Ryan Neal. Unlikely that that gets matched by somebody else, so Ryan Neal probably stays around. Obviously, you're going to have Quandre Diggs back there, and Jamal Adams, with the way his contract is structured, it basically just makes no sense to release Jamal Adams and cut ties there because of how much dead money you'd have to take up. So essentially, here's where the Seahawks are at with the safety position now, with a number of guys in a couple of spots here. In my perfect outcome, my perfect world here, Jamal Adams then moves to the linebacker position, which is something that you need help with, and Jamal Adams could potentially provide you that. Julian Love and Quandre Diggs are your starting safeties. They're running the ship, they're commanding the way. And then Ryan Neal is behind them, and whether you want to put some formations out there with 3 safeties, or if he's the primary backup for those two, all of a sudden you have some flexibility. Maybe even play Ryan Neal at nickelback potentially here. So I really like this for the Seahawks, of the depth it provides, what it does to this secondary. Besides just how good of a player Julian Love is, this is, I think, something that will go a long way for this Seattle team, of giving them flexibility, giving them options of what they can do with these safety positions. So that's my biggest takeaway from this move. So I want to know, what's your one-word reaction to Julian Love signing with the Seattle Seahawks, 2 years, $12 million. Give me one word to describe it. My one word is flexibility. To have those options, to be able to try to do some different things here. I like what Seattle is doing with giving them this option to be able to work around this defensive roster and have different things they can do. Flexibility it provides. That's the one word I would use. What's your one word? Let us know in the comment section below. Folks, this is why you subscribe to the channel. I mean, here we are, second video of the day. It's my off day. I'm at home. I was just watching some NCAA tournament basketball. But that doesn't stop us from talking about your Seattle Seahawks. So if you can do me a favor, any way you can help possible, the biggest thing you can do is just simply subscribe to the channel. Subscribe now if you love your Seattle Seahawks, you want more content like you're seeing today, the latest news and rumors. We do our live shows, of course, during the week, daily Seattle Seahawks coverage, and we're talking draft, trades, breaking news. We're counting down to the draft. All of that right here on the channel. Subscribe today for free. You'll be glad you did. YouTube.com/SeahawksTV. Turn on notifications so you never miss a moment. All right, let's look at the numbers now and the backstory with Julian Love here. Love, a former fourth-round selection back in 2019, out of Notre Dame, and spent his entire career to this point, the last few seasons, with the New York Giants. And he is coming off, without question, the best year of his NFL career. Let me go over these numbers for you of what we saw from Julian Love last year. In 16 games played, he had a grand total of 124 tackles, 1 sack, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, 2 interceptions, 5 passes defended. He was all over the place. Julian Love had a very good year last year. And you want to talk about the difference that a year makes of a guy capitalizing, having a year like he had, comparably speaking. 2019, 2020, and 2021, he played most of the season in those 3 years. He played 15 games in 2019, played 16 games in 2020, and 17 games in 2021. And his numbers were basically half in those 3 seasons compared to what they were last year. This guy is just now getting into his prime and starting to play his best football. You look at, let's say, 2021, for example. He had 66 tackles compared to 124 last year. Just half a sack, 1 fumble recovery, 1 interception. The production was half as much as what he was able to produce this past year. This guy is just really getting things started as far as I'm concerned. Julian Love, a very good football player. This is a good signing for your Seattle Seahawks. I like it. And we mentioned the flexibility. Think about this. It's no secret that the Seahawks had their struggles last year on defense. And what have we seen from Pete Carroll and John Schneider throughout these last few days of free agency frenzy through this point? Wholesale changes on that defense, okay? Starting with Draymond Jones and company and the moves that we've seen these last few days, Devin Bush today, to me, it stands out what we've seen of this group, that they are not content on what they saw last year. And obviously, you're still going to bring back some pretty decent players like Quandre Diggs, like Tariq Woolen, Kobe Bryant, Jordan Brooks when he comes back from injury. But look out, folks. Improvement. We mentioned my one-word reaction earlier with flexibility. If I had to pick another word, I would say that improvement would be the word. That this team is taking some big steps up. They're not settling for what we saw that product on the field last year, where the defense just didn't do its job and gave up a lot of points and really struggled to stop the run. They are not content with that. And to me, I applaud the Seahawks for making these aggressive moves. Jaron Reed, another one that happened this week as well. And you still have the draft, folks. Draft coming up around the corner with the Seahawks holding all those picks and still expect them to get younger defensively. So I like what I've seen from the Seahawks the last couple of days. This is, when you talk about value of what you're paying and what you're getting out of, this move for Julian Love might be my favorite of all of them, quite frankly. How would you grade the move by Seattle to go with Julian Love here? I give this an A. This, to me, is a very good move from the Seahawks to help strengthen this Seahawks defense, provide strength in numbers. I give it an A. Give me a grade what you think the Seahawks have done with this move to bring in Julian Love. So now here we are, the Seahawks at this point in time, with the moves they've made. What's so interesting is that, historically speaking, when we've talked about free agency with your Seattle Seahawks, is that they have, in the past, not necessarily been aggressive in free agency, right? And at least within the first couple of days. And here we are at day 5, and every move that they've made has been on defense and helped make that defense better, other than re-signing, of course, Drew Lock. But as far as bringing in players from the outside, it's been about strengthening this defense, and they've taken dramatic steps forward as far as that goes. And they've been methodical with this, right? We saw them, piece by piece throughout this, right? And almost forgot the move that the Seahawks made at the center position as well when the Seahawks signed Evan Brown. So almost all defense, but a couple of offensive moves, but primarily defensive moves, right? And so with that said, this Seahawks team, they're being very smart with how they're going about this and their approach. I know I'm not the big fan of the move that they did earlier today with Devin Bush, but I think that we can confidently say here on St. Patrick's Day, March 17, 2023, the Seattle Seahawks are a much better team today than they were when they began the week on Monday. They took their time. They figured it out. They went piece by piece. And who's to say they're even done yet at this point? But from what they've done to this point, the Seahawks are in better position, and there's still more work to be done. I'm feeling pretty confident about this group. Hit me up on social media, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at Tyler Jones Live, talking more about your Seattle Seahawks there. I'll see you next time here on Seahawks Today, whether it's at home or whether it's back in studio. We got you covered here on the channel. Subscribe. We'll see you next time.